Hello YouTube family, Greg D here with TJ, and we're back for another DCUO discussion video. And today I want to talk about why you should be playing Legends PVE, Legends PvP, the whole gamut, and how that can help you level yourself up and make yourself a better player. So if you guys paid attention to my last live stream, you'll notice that I got bored and I played some Legends PVE. Now this is probably only the second or third time that I have in fact played Legends PVE, and for the most part too, I do play, as far as PvP, I do kind of focus my time towards Legends PvP, but Legends PvE was kind of fun. Now granted, you are doing a lot of the same instances that you always do, especially going through like story mode or leveling up your character through the lower end tiers, but to have the opportunity to play as one of your favorite DC characters actually made it fun for me. So if you guys watch the live stream, you'll notice that I played as Dr. Fate. Dr. Fate is probably one of my more favorite DC characters. I've always kind of liked the magician type characters. And Dr. Fate is a very powerful DC character as well. He's probably like the most powerful sorcerer in the DC universe. But it was a lot of fun to, like I said, you're playing the same scenarios, you're playing the same instances, you're in the same environments, maps, everything like that, but you have the opportunity to play as your character. And the one thing that is nice as well is you obviously gain marks completing these instances to unlock more characters. And I think that much like having alternate versions of your own characters, so if you have your main character as an Earth, let's say, but you feel like playing Quantum one day and you have an alternate as Quantum, or you feel like playing Ice one day and you can switch off that way. I feel like Legends kind of is something to keep the game interesting regarding, once again, playing as your favorite DC character, but also having something different as far as like a play from the tray option as well, because obviously the powers that Dr. Fate uses, for example, we'll go back to that because that's the one I was playing with. Obviously, he would be kind of like sorcery, but his powers are completely different than, what we get playing PvE as a sorcery character. Same thing with Superman. Superman's powers are going to be, completely different than the ones that we can play. Same thing goes with like Shazam and Black Adam and the Supergirl and all that. So it's kind of interesting to see how they develop these Legends characters, and the playability really goes up because it can keep things interesting in a way. Like I said, yes, you are playing the same instances, but to have a different power set each time is kind of cool. Not to mention that you can gain a lot of skill points and a lot of feat points as well from playing Legends PvE, obviously going through each new map that they develop, like for example, in the live stream I had Owen Science Cells, there's been Smallville, there's been, I'm trying to remember all the other ones that I haven't really paid attention to it up to this point, but now I'm kind of like, so maybe in the downtime, when I know personally for me, in the downtime of when I get bored, let's say a new episode has been out and you play everything for 2 weeks and then you get kind of bored playing the same stuff every again, maybe Legends PvE can kind of fill in that between time. Like I said, you can get a lot of feat points, you can get a lot of skill points, and if you once again, much like your own characters, if you feel like playing Dr. Fate one day you can, or if you feel like playing Superman the next day you can, or if you feel like playing Atrocitus one day you can. I think it's very cool. And the only thing that I do wish that they would do is I wish they would kind of bring some of the characteristics of Legends PvE and PvP into our what we can do for our own characters. And what I mean by that is, especially with like the Lantern stuff. So you have Guy Gardner. Guy Gardner in the game is a Green Lantern and a Red Lantern. So you have a Green Lantern power ring and a Red Lantern power ring. Kyle Rayner in the game has a Green Lantern ring and a Blue Lantern ring. So I wish that you could almost, especially like in the Lantern instances, mix and match. I think that would be super, super cool. So, much like you could have several different loadouts, like for example, with nature and gadgets, how you can enter in different modes of sorts and have different loadouts. I feel like that would be a great way to incorporate a double lantern. So if we were able to be a Green Lantern and a Red Lantern, I feel like it would be cool. So maybe in the case you start off obviously as a Green Lantern or maybe a Yellow Lantern for villains, and then you gain a certain amount of like rage points or anger points. Well, I'm speaking in this case of Green Lantern and Red Lantern. So maybe, like I said, maybe you start off as a Green Lantern and then you acquire enough rage points to the point where you can kind of like it almost would be like a supercharge in a way. So maybe the supercharge is you get to turn into Red Lantern, right? And then you'd have a totally different loadout with a totally different set of powers. Now, granted, it wouldn't be like a forever thing, but maybe it would last maybe like, 3 or 4 minutes where you get into this like supercharged mode where you could just, your damage increases and your defense increases and everything. Your power back regen increases. I think that would be a really sweet way to incorporate something that they have in Legends into our own characters. And I guess the same thing could be said for the Green Lantern and the Blue Lantern. So maybe like you're a healer, for example. So because Blue Lantern is kind of like healing. So maybe in that case you start off as a Green Lantern once again, and then maybe you acquire enough healing points to kind of transmorph yourself into a you can go from like a controller role as a Green Lantern to transmorphing into like a healer as a supercharge, and then maybe for 4 or 5 minutes you're like balls to the wall, like you can create shields, you're protecting everybody, defense is increased, healing potential, crit potential, all that stuff is increased. This is the kind of stuff that I think about, but it would be really cool, and I think that's why DCUO in general could have something there if they were able to take that instance of Legends and incorporate it into our characters and our power and our playability. I think that would be super cool, number one. I think that would bring back a lot of people, number two. And I think that would add in a dynamic into the game that would make the game a lot more fun to play. Now, granted, everyone would be switching to this power, myself included, obviously. But I think that it would be a lot of fun, because if you could have 2 different power types, who knows? I mean, you could even, not even talking about the lantern things, maybe you could do like a fire and ice thing or something like that. So maybe, maybe you start off, you can pick whether you want to start off as ice or fire, and then you accumulate a certain number of like supercharge points or whatever, and then you supercharge into like this, you go from, spitting out fireballs to being this like huge fucking ice tank demon thing. Then once again, your damage and your defense and your just everything increases for, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, which would obviously be hugely helpful in alerts and raids, especially like for the final bosses and that kind of thing. But okay, I think my rant is over on that, but I feel like that would be really cool. You guys will have to let me know if that would be something that you would like to see yourself. But all in all, I guess what I'm saying is I feel like I'm going to be playing a lot more Legends, especially the PvE stuff, coming up here, because we all know they haven't really touched PvP as far as any kind of updates recently, so I'll probably stay away from PvP for now. But Legends PvE is something that I kind of want to get better on, and I feel like we'll be able to keep my interest in the game high, so stay tuned, because there may be some Legends PvE videos coming. But what do you guys think? Do you like Legends PvE? Have you even tried Legends PvE? If you haven't, try it out, let me know. And what do you think about having like the dual power type thing, especially like in the Lantern style, or like a fire and ice, or a light and a dark, something like that. I don't know how they can make that work, but obviously they do it in Legends, so why can't they do it for our characters? So yeah, that's all I got for you today. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Once again, thank you guys so much for getting the channel to 3,000 subscribers over the last 24 hours. Really greatly appreciate it. Shut up, computer. And so that's all I got for you. So thank you guys so much again. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more. And until next time, see you soon.